Hello and welcome back to another development log for my next board game. This one is going to be quite short as it's covering just 3 days instead of a full week. One day is setting up for a big playtest day, the next day is actually doing the playtest day, and the day after is formulating a plan to address all the feedback which I got. On Monday, I said hi to all the animals in my life, made myself a coffee, and then got on with what needed to be done. After some playtesting over the weekend, I wanted to make some minor changes to the game, as well as one big change. The introduction of the Faith resource, as well as Faith cards. I really love bidding mechanics, so I thought this would be a cool alternate type of gameplay added to the game. I also realised after mulling over the playtesting notes from last week, what would be a great way to fix some of the issues I was having with playtesters getting bored towards the end of the game. There's no progression at all. Despite there being lots to do in the game, it's always the same stuff from minute 1 to minute 60. So with that in mind, I decided to use the round track to incorporate an artificial progression system to make players feel like they are progressing, when really they are just getting additional turns per round, which makes them feel more powerful. Secondly, one of the benefits of having playtesters be your friends you play with all the time anyway, is that you get to see their reactions to games that aren't your own. My friends love Wingspan and Catan, and I thought, but you always do the same thing every turn in those games as well. That's when I realised that the difference was that in those games, you are building towards something. With Catan, it's structures and roads. With Wingspan, it's gaining food and improving your engine. With that in mind, I added outposts into the game that cost a lot of resources to build, but are a very positive effect for the player that plays them, and as well as other players. Okay, so the first playtest on Tuesday was with Rachel and Jake, a great duo that hosts a podcast called We're So Bored. Oh, sorry, we completely forgot to do the Faith card. That's my fault. Sorry about that. Use this to gain double resources from a roll you have rolled. So yeah, I have 2 faith, and I'm gonna.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Maybe I do.
You don't.
Right. So on 3, reveal what you're gonna bet. By dragging out your box. So 3, 2, 1, reveal. What? Oh damn! You bet all 3. Okay. So in that case, you.
Oh, sorry, not all 3. Sorry, I meant to grab 2.
Okay. Yeah. So in that case, you win the card. Because no one else bet any.
You didn't actually bet any.
Yeah, and I don't think Jake did either.
I have a quick question about the abilities here.
Mm-hmm.
It says discard 2 route cards and redraw.
Yeah.
Can I discard 1 and redraw 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it should say discard up to 2 cards.
So do route cards with arrows stack? And what I mean by that is, I have 1 that I fulfilled.
Yeah, you can get Uranus and then get another one.
Got it.
Yeah, if you landed on it, which you have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can chain them.
Good, excellent.
If I want to discard again, can I choose to only discard 1 card and draw 1?
Yes.
Okay.
So if 35, you ended up on 46 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. So you and Rachel, yeah.
I just barely beat you.
Mm.
That is interesting, because in a lot of games, I mean, obviously, like, I had a bit more points this game, but in a lot of games, despite the cards being so varied in victory points, scores are often, like, really, really close. Like, just, like, 1 point difference, or, like, a couple of points difference, which is interesting.
You also have more experience playing the game than we
True.
do, so...
Yeah, I guess. But, yeah, so that's the game. Have you got, like, any sort of, like... I mean, obviously, like, you've got issues with the bidding system, which is, like, probably the newest part of the game, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But, like, is there anything, like, sort of, like, to do with the fundamentals of the game? Like, first of all, did you, like, enjoy playing it? Like, was it fun?
I really liked it.
I really did like it.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
Yeah, so, like, I wanted to build an outpost, but obviously it's only beneficial if I put it somewhere that you guys are going. And I noticed that you guys aren't really going over here to Venus and Mercury, which is primarily what my cards were for.
Yeah.
And so it was difficult for me to, like, get over here. And by the time I did get to, like, Mars, where I could have built one, I didn't have the resources for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, it just... in the end was like, it doesn't seem like it's worth it. It's, you know, not getting me anything. So
My only other thing I might consider is the lackey cards.
Mm-hmm.
Them all just being a fuel or a route. Is that accurate?
There are metals as well, but yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking if you could get something that is punitive to other players, it might be more of an incentive to purchase them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I do think that it would be cool to make it so that they have this base, like, sort of like thing that you get from them, but also something else as well, like
yeah, no,
like an ability or something.
Yeah, if you added something in there that would, like once per round or once per game, choose a character and take one of their resources.
As you can see from that playtest, they genuinely enjoyed the gameplay but had some gripes with the faith system, which makes sense as it's the newest part of the game and has the least amount of polish on it. One of the amazing bits of advice came from Jake when he suggested that I make outposts also a permanent flag to help you claim trading routes. This was such a great idea as it directly helped players with one of the core problem solving elements of the game, making more players likely to interact with the mechanic. Next up was Stone Sword Games, the developer behind Hogs of War and their upcoming game, Senjutsu. Unfortunately, I lost the footage for this one. I don't know what happened, but what I will say is that it was probably one of the most beneficial playtests that I've ever had. They gave me some great advice with the outposts, which would get more players more likely to use them, which is to have players already have them from the beginning, but make them a bit worse than what I already had them at. So initially, the outpost worked in a way that once a player rolled 2 resources on the planet where you had the outpost, you would also gain those resources. However, now the way it works is that the base version just gives you one of those resources, so you have to choose between which resource. But if you upgrade them, you get both resources and it counts as a permanent flag, as I mentioned before. Now this is great because it shows players why it's good and how it could potentially be better if you chose to focus on that path, which is kind of difficult to get across with just a little reference card telling you how to build it. Another bit of feedback was just to remove the faith cards, which I'm still mulling over but I'm leaning towards agreeing on. If something doesn't hit with 2 groups in a row, then it's not something I'm super excited about continuing. Another suggestion was to make cards you don't complete in your hand count as minus points, similar to Ticket to Ride. This suggestion was super exciting because it added a problem right from the beginning for playtesters to think about, where previously it kind of felt a bit mindless when building your decks, and with it being a deck builder that obviously isn't the best. The problem being that if you just put random cards into your deck that are super high points, then if you draw them into your hand and you don't have enough metal to get rid of them, you're going to be taking on a lot of minus points. Now finally, they gave their most important bit of advice, or at least the most impactful bit anyway, which was to continue with the space theme rather than switch to a Norse theme. And they gave a lot of reasons why I shouldn't switch to Norse that I'm not really going to disclose in this video. But one of the core reasons why they suggested it was that they saw that a space game was my original idea, my gut instinct, and they told me that it's always better to follow your gut. So on Wednesday, the next day after the playtests, I had a time to digest everything and I had a meeting with Caitlin, which is the game's artist, to discuss the idea of the space theme. As her excitement for an idea is a massive indication for me of whether or not it will work. If she isn't excited, then there is no real point in pursuing it in my eyes. After she said she was down for the space theme, with maybe a cool tongue-in-cheek Futurama style twist to it, we put together a to-do list on Trello. We have a roadmap of around now until about November to get the basics of the artwork done. Whilst for me, I'm going to continue working on implementing the feedback which I got yesterday, as well as working on making the lackey cards more appealing. So the next video will be about trying to get players excited about using them. That'll be a really cool design challenge on my part, and hopefully it'll be interesting for you guys to watch. Now that's about it, so thank you guys for watching this shorter video. Let me know what you guys want from this series and whether or not it'll be a good idea to do like a current rules roundup video once a month just to keep people in the loop. But yeah, anyway, so thank you for watching this video, and hopefully I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.